Ladies and gentlemen, Happy New Year! It is game week, and this is the Bama Standard. We are brought to you by Michael Petyak of Oakmont Financial Partners, Memory Advisory Board Services Network, LLC, and Workspace Solutions. With me to preview the first round of the college football playoffs is the man, the leading man in the sports entertainment industry. We'll call it that. The senior analyst of Touchdown Alabama Magazine, Stephen M. Smith.
What's going on, people? What's going on, man? Justin, I'm thrilled, man. I'm thrilled to be here with you. I've been getting a lot of updates from down there in Dallas where the Alabama Crimson Tide is concerned. Coach Saban, Bill O'Brien got down there quick.
He did. He beat you.
Hit O'Brien that bad. I think O'Brien got there 2 days early. So, there's been some good stuff going around here in these practices, Justin, involving some receivers. I'm ready to get down with this.
Man, I am too. And as you saw earlier, I'm so excited. I was a little tongue-tied in giving the proper introduction, but you know what? Who cares? It's game week. We are ready to go. Before we get started, I'll remind everyone, our guest tonight is none other than 2015 SEC and National Champion Richard Mullaney. He will be joining us. You can tell the best hype man in the business is ready to introduce him. But as I was saying, he will be with us 20 minutes after the hour. And also, Marvin Constant, a little bit of an update, man. He is doing well. He had his first session of rehab yesterday.
Thank you, Lord.
Very painful, very painful. But you know what? At this point in the game, it's all about surviving and moving forward. And Mr. Constant did well. Surgery went very well. Praise God. We're very excited about that. And if you are want to see a little bit of what his new knee looks like, he posted on his Instagram, warning, not for the squeamish at heart. But yeah, Steve, let's go ahead and get to it. I know you're ready. We're all ready, especially since we have our guest coming in here in 20 minutes. First things first, a lot of the focus has been John Mechie's out. A lot of people are saying the sky's falling. What is Alabama going to do without John Mechie? Matter of fact, this is all too familiar because last year David Pollack said the sky's falling when Jalen Waddle went out. But here we are again. So we have some interesting points to talk about right here. Matter of fact, I feel more confident this time around because, one, I think this is a great opportunity for Cameron Latou and Jaleel Billingsley to step up big. But also, Steve, as we talked about before the show, the young bucks in the stable, the wide receivers. Nick Saban has been talking about it since last week, and he put special emphasis on Javon Baker. He put special emphasis on Ajay Hall. And Trayshawn Holden. And, man, listen, these guys are showing up and showing out. I'm excited about Trayshawn Holden because before they even got to Alabama, he and Bryce had this familiarity, this comfort level. And I feel like right now you're about to see what he can truly do, but also he's taking the mantle, as we talked about, when John Mechie went out. First thing he put out, brother, I got your back. So I think this young man's ready to explode, but I'm talking a lot here. Stephen M., what do you think?
This is crazy because you go back to last year, Justin, when David Pollack made that statement about Jalen Waddle being out, and all Devontae Smith said was, "Let me reintroduce myself. I'm Slim Reaper." And Devontae Smith goes out there, 9 games of 150 plus receiving yards, 3 of those games 200 plus receiving yards, 7 of those games in which Devontae Smith went off, Jalen Waddle was not on the field. So Smitty did a phenomenal job getting Alabama to the SEC championship, the college football playoff, winning the national championship, and becoming the first receiver since Desmond Howard of Michigan to win the Heisman Trophy. And not just Smitty, but you had other guys that stepped up as well last season. When you look at Jaleel Billingsley, when you look at John Mechie, Slade Bolden stepped up. Najee Harris out the backfield was a great receiver. Also, Miller Forrestal did his thing. So Alabama in a very similar situation right here, the exact same basically, when you look at Mechie down, many people now they don't have another Chi, they don't have another playmaker. Cincinnati's got this elite secondary, which they do. But when I look at this wide receiver room right now, and you brought it up, Justin, when you look at Jaleel Billingsley, a big chance for him. Cameron Latou, a big chance for him. But these receivers, Ja'Cory Brooks, Trayshawn Holden, J.I. Hall, Javon Baker, this is prime time for these guys. Prime time opportunity. And all four of these young men have stepped up in the bowl prep, whether it's been in Tuscaloosa, whether it's been in Dallas, Texas. But right now, the name that's been popping off here, and like you mentioned, Justin, I want to see Trayshawn Holden do this, just due to 6'3", 208 pounds, big body, a guy that's Bryce Young's roommate. Both guys very familiar with each other, both coming from California. Trayshawn's been wanting this moment. But today, Bill O'Brien got to Dallas 2 days before me, got down there, and what did Bill O'Brien say? J.I. Hall has been stepping up, a lot of improvement from him. This is the third person that has talked about Hall, the true freshman, the one that had the A-Day game, in this magnitude. Nick Saban said before Christmas, hey, Hall stepping up. Bryce Young said before Christmas, Hall getting way more comfortable in the deep routes, the timing routes, the pattern routes, way more comfortable. Now you've got Billy O'Brien here saying the exact same things. Now, my Bible always tells me when it's 2 or 3 people, you claim that mess is true. But I'm not trying to bring stuff. I'm not trying to bring past into the situation. But all I'm saying is, what does this mean when you got 3 people saying this about Hall? Could we see this brother finally put it all behind him and get on the field for extensive playing time? This is huge.
When 3 or more gather together, pay attention, because these young men are about to take off. And listen, you mentioned Bill O'Brien rejoining the fold. Excited to have him back earlier than expected. But listen, a lot of people were concerned while he was out. But guys, let me remind you, while he was out, we were still in good hands. Man, Alex Mortson and Holman Wiggins were there, but the biggest thing to me was having the return of the fiery young man, 74-year-old Pendry. They were able to take over. They were able to take this group in. And listen, if we all remember, Joe Pendry units, man, they could maul people. They could work people. So you got to think a little bit of that nasty of Joe Pendry is going to be presenting itself coming up. Man, I'm excited about it.
When I heard Pendry's name, Justin, I was like, oh, man, this is nice right here. Because Joe, you remember Pendry coached for 41 years prior to his retirement in 2011, January of that year. He also had the opportunity to be a general manager for the Birmingham Iron of the AAF League before that league sadly disbanded. But funny story about Pendry, he is a true Renaissance man. I talked about Coach Saban being a Renaissance guy, but Pendry has coached every offensive position except tight ends. He's been a head coach before, an offensive coordinator, a quarterback's coach, a running back's coach, a wide receivers coach, an O-line coach. Pendry has done some of everything when you look at offensive staff. So, in that 2009 team, Pendry played a huge role in helping Mark Ingram become the program's first Heisman Trophy winner. So you got one of the OG generals there in Pendry. Happy to have him back out there.
So yeah, needless to say, guys, I am keeping my eye on this offensive line. One, since he's had a little bit of influence on them here recently, but then two, seeing if they can build off that momentum from the Georgia game. They'll be going up against a strong pass rush with Majai Sanders and Curtis Brooks, who happens to have one of the highest pass rush grades in the country. But with the way this unit has been playing collectively, Seth McLaughlin, Chris Owens, Javion Cohen, listen, I'm not at all worried about what this pass rush, as good as they are, as disciplined as they are, as aggressive as they are, I'm not really worried about what problems they may present to us, just because I'm confident in what this offensive line is showing us right now.
I mean, ever since the second half of the Auburn game, Justin, we have seen this offensive line come alive here. Seth McLaughlin, you put him out there at center, but the three-star from Beaufort, Georgia, came in the 2020 class, and he has solidified this group. He's got fans asking Nick Saban, where has McLaughlin been all season, Nick? Wait a minute. So you finally put Seth out there. He's playing well. Chris Owens had his best performance at right tackle against Georgia. Can he continue that with Cincinnati?
Yeah, absolutely.
We've seen Javion Cohen improve. We know what Evan Neal is. Emil Ekiyor has had moments of improvement. So can this group take what it did against Georgia and duplicate that on Friday? We got Plow Jogger with a thought here. Plow Jogger writes in, any COVID news on the players? No player has been in COVID protocol. No player has tested positive for the virus, according to Coach Saban and from the information that I gathered. So the players are fine. In other news here, we got Steve Dean. Will Chris Allen play? I do not think so. I have not heard any news and information of him practicing. Now, he could be back for next season, possibly, maybe, but I have not heard any news of him practicing throughout this week. So I do not see Chris Allen playing at all. I mean, Coach Saban mentioned he had done well in the rehab. He was progressing in the rehab. It was a very, very big push for him in this rehab. But I just do not see Allen out there on the field against Cincinnati. But better news is we will see Jalen Armour Davis on the field here. According to Pete Golding on yesterday, JAD practice. He went through drills. He's been going through drills throughout this time of bowl prep. He looks really good out there. Looks really sound out there. The team happy to have him back. Armour Davis had been bothered by a hip issue. Did not play against Auburn in the Iron Bowl. Did not go against Georgia in the SEC title game. But to have Armour Davis back is a big deal. This is a young man that grades out at 82.2 according to Pro Football Focus, and 342 coverage snaps. So Armour Davis, the most consistent corner of the bunch here, 30 tackles. He shares the team lead with 3 interceptions. Alabama is still prepping Kyrie Jackson. So Jackson should still get big playing time. In my opinion, Justin, I feel like they should start Kyrie.
I agree.
Because he's gotten so much prep. I would spot play Jalen Armour Davis just to make sure the hip is the way it needs to be at. Really still kind of want to be cautious with him, but I would start Kyrie just due to Jackson's gotten all of the prep work leading up to this point.
Absolutely. And sticking with the secondary, this is another group that I'm very confident in, especially here as of late. You got to look at the tremendous play as a collective unit. DeMarco Hellens, Jordan Battle, Brian Branch. Even if Jalen Armour Davis isn't able to go 100%, you've got to be confident what they're able to bring to the field. And I think those guys are going to be one of the key groups right against Desmond Ridder, a guy that can move around the pocket and can create all kinds of chaos. But this group has been playing with a lot of intensity, a lot of focus, and a lot of discipline as of late. And if they continue to do that, I don't foresee Desmond Ridder being able to cause as much controversy as he's accustomed to.
I'm also say this, Justin, another update here. Malachi Moore practiced this week, and he was really good out there, going through drills with DBs. He's been battling with some back spasms, but he was out there yesterday, looked fluent, looked smooth, moved very well. So Alabama looking to have him on the field also in that secondary. The question will be, with how well Brian Branch has played as of late, how much can you get Malachi on the field in that secondary? Because Brian Branch has turned up since the Iron Bowl, and
sure has.
You don't want to mess with that. You don't want to mess with that energy. You don't want to mess with that continuity. You don't want to mess with that momentum. As good as Malachi is, you don't want to offset what Branch is doing. So Saban's gonna have to kind of work that in the way he can. Craig Young writes in, how is B-Rob? Brian Robinson is good. He's 100%. And B-Rob talked about it. He spent a lot of time with Jeff Allen and the training crew. He's good. B-Rob is good to go. He's good to get some carries. And while everyone's talked so much about Cincinnati's defensive secondary, their run game has been suspect. Their run defense has been suspect this season. They gave up near 300 yards rushing to Tulsa. Cincinnati has given up roughly 140 yards rushing per game. They've given up 14 rushing touchdowns. Here is B-Rob, a 1,000-yard back. B-Rob, 14 rushing scores in the year, four 100-yard games. Ole Miss played a lot of that 3-3 stack early on in the season, and B-Rob went off 177 yards and 4 touchdowns. When you look at him against Cincinnati, this could be another potential career game for B-Rob here.
Oh, no doubt. And proper credit goes to Sauce Gardner and Kobe Bryant. You know, their defensive unit is actually ranked at number 2 in the country right now in pass defense and pass efficiency. So the guys know what to do. So while that may be their strength, yeah, you're absolutely right. This played towards our weakness, man. They can't hold up well against the run. And right now, Trey Sanders and B-Rob are set to go off. And you got to think, like I said, with the offensive line being fired up and being ready to tear people apart, man, it spells disaster for Cincinnati.
Also, watch design runs from Bryce Young.
Yes,
you and I both talked about you and I talked about this ever since the Tennessee game. Bryce has gotten a full understanding. It's okay to use my legs. It's okay to use my athleticism. It's okay to pull the ball down and go. And while Sauce Gardner and Kobe Bryant so keen on these receivers, you turn your back to Bryce Young. There goes 9 running up and down the field. So then there's that.
Absolutely. And hey, why not run some jet sweeps with JMO as well? You know, make them try to stop our speed. Honestly, I don't think that they have an answer for our speed. So if we're able to use that to our advantage, it may be a long day for them.
I'm going to say this, and this, Justin, goes back to last year. There were so many defensive backs that kept saying, I can handle Devontae Smith. I can take 6. I can check 6. And 6 completely burned Eric Stokes of Georgia, Derek Stingley of MSU, Marco Wilson of Florida, Kyle Hamilton of Notre Dame, and of course, Sean Wade of Ohio State. And the way he was able to do that, Steve Sarkisian did a tremendous job of not allowing defensive backs and defensive play callers to have their eyes focused on one spot in terms of Smitty. Sark moved Smitty around, whether it was at X, whether it was in the slot, whether it was at Z, putting him in motion, using a lot of shifts and movements, eye candy. So by the time the ball was snapped, whoever was responsible for Smith, they were outmanned, they were outflanked, and they took poor angles to the football. And when I look at Bill O'Brien, you got to do the same thing with Jamison Williams. You got to disrupt the eyes of Gardner and Bryant enough to where by the time the ball is snapped, they're making the proper angles to the football.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, another thing that really impresses me, I can't even talk, man. I'm so excited. One of the things that impresses me about Cincinnati is that they're so fundamentally sound. They're very disciplined. And a lot of people are making a lot of talk about the fact that they are undersized. Don't let undersized fool you. You know, you got to be on your A game watching them, watching their speed. And Coach Saban has actually spent some extra time with us working on our fundamentals, make sure we're disciplined. So I think that is going to be a very key thing when we go up against this motivated Cincinnati squad.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, Luke Fickell has talked about this. Cincinnati has said, we belong here. Cincinnati's offensive coordinator talked about it. Luke Fickell has talked about it. Their players have talked about it. This is a team that's going to come in here, that's already in here, highly confident, highly motivated. Fickell has won national championships as an assistant. He won at 2002 on Jim Tressel's staff at Ohio State. He won a national title in 2014 on Urban Meyer's staff. So Fickell knows how to win championships. He's trying to now get one as a head coach. So, and he talked about it. We're here. Our job is to take out the champs to be the champs. And we got a shot to take out the champs. Fickell was extremely confident.
Absolutely.
Ritter, extremely confident. This team is up and up, and they're going to come in here given their best performance, given their A game. The question for Cincinnati would be, will they have enough? That's the biggest thing for the Bearcats. As good as they are, and they're good, will they have enough here to go through a whole 4 quarters, a whole 60 minutes here with the Crimson Tide? I think the big thing here, Justin, for Alabama is defending the receivers from Cincinnati. I mean, because you look at how good they are on the outside with Alec Pierce and other guys, but taking on Josh Wiley, the tight end, Todd has had some issues with tight ends this season, whether that would be Jalen Weidemeyer or the likes of Brock Bowers of Georgia. Bama's got to handle those tight ends. I think we lost Justin there. He's kind of froze up on me. Yep. We lost Justin there, folks. So as we're getting Justin back in here, kind of lost him there. But as we're getting Justin back in here, he's definitely. When we look at Alabama, the secondary, the big thing to be handling those tight ends. When you look at Josh Wiley, Alabama has had issues with that position this season. Also handling their wide receivers. I got a chance to speak with Todd Blackledge, ESPN commentator Todd Blackledge. He spoke to us via Zoom, I believe that was Monday, and he mentioned how one of the areas he sees Cincinnati giving Alabama trouble in is at receiver, because he sees those guys being able to win one-on-one battles against Alabama's defensive backs, against Alabama's corners. Okay, Justin is back here. Justin, what's going on?
Man, sorry about that that forced exit by my internet. But listen, before I got unceremoniously booted off, I heard a beep here in the background. And that means that our guest has arrived. So,
okay,
get ready.
Okay.
What's going on, brother?
How we doing, guys?
Man, excited. Game week.
I know, right?
But listen, before we get started, we have to do one thing we do for all of our guests. We have the best hype men in all of college football right here in Stephen M. Smith. So, Stephen M. Smith, that being said, if you would, please introduce this man.
Man, oh my gosh, man. What? Oh my goodness, I'm just right now. Man, I watched this brother play at Oregon State, and he was a beast at Oregon State. I'm not going to lie, Pac-12 beast. But then when he made the decision to transfer down here to Tuscaloosa, I'm like, and he hooked up with that boy Jacob Coker. And all this brother did was catch 5 or 6 touchdown passes in 2015. I'm watching this guy go over the middle, not afraid to get pocket in one-handed catches. I'm watching this guy just juke people out. I'm watching this guy giving people the business, giving the finger. I'm watching this guy win a national championship on the biggest stage of college football. I'm telling you, we got Richard Slotty Pippen. Oh my God, Mullaney's here.
I love it.
Oh, welcome in, sir. Listen, we rent him out anytime you have an event, or if you just want to walk into a Chick-fil-A, he's available to announce your presence. So, yeah, there you go, man.
Well, I appreciate it.
Man, glad to have you here, brother. How's everything out in California? Aren't you coaching right now?
Yeah, I this past year I coached at my high school, and it was fun. I loved it. I first took COVID obviously it's been crazy, still is, but took kind of went away from football for a hot sec, but missed it too much and was back as coaching, and man, I love it. It's been so much fun.
How's it feel coming full circle, being back at your old high school?
It's awesome. One of my best friends, he actually just got the head coaching job there, and I'd always go to practices and stuff, was kind of around, helping where I could. And he's like, hey, I mean, you're here. Why not just come coach, help us out? And finally said yes after, him chasing me around for a little bit. And like I said, I loved it. It's been so rewarding. And, just being able to teach, the kids that we have it's just a great group of kids too. It's so much fun.
That's awesome. Well, let's go ahead and start focusing on what you did while you were at Alabama, man. That's why we have you here tonight. But I want to lead off, being in the SEC, our fans assume that the other fan bases don't meet our brand of crazy. So my question is, what was your first impression of our brand of crazy at the Alabama fan base?
Yeah, it's a little different to say the least. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I would always tell my family and my friends about it, just like how it's just like a religion, like just like the tailgating, starting on, I think for the LSU game, like people were like setting up on like Wednesday, Thursday. I was like, this
Yeah.
is crazy. But yeah, once everyone got there and got to see it firsthand, they were just like, yeah, this is just different, whole different world.
So
In the best way, though.
Yeah, exactly.
So when you came in, because I believe you came in, Richard, in the summer of 2015, if I'm not mistaken. Like when you came in, how quickly were you able to gel and fit in? Because I know as transfers at times when you come in, that feel your way through process can be kind of difficult. But how seamless was your transition that summer when you came?
It was pretty easy, I would say, just because of like the leadership that was there already. And I'm not a very like vocal look at me, so I just kind of take the back seat and kind of observe and try to figure out where I fit in. And it was nice. Obviously coming in the summer though was tough because I'm behind. Usually a lot of transfers get there in the spring, but like I said, I just kind of it was nice during camp. I was rooming with Ryan Kelly, Jacob Coker, Michael Nicewander, and them all being older guys. Jake and I clicked right away just because he was a transfer, so we had that in common. But being able to room with those guys who were some of the leaders on our team, it was nice. But like I said, I just kind of took the back seat and figured out. I mean, when I first got there, I was out on the outside playing receiver, and then I want to say Chris Black ended up getting hurt during summer workouts. So they're like, hey, there's a spot. And I was like, hey, I'll just learn everything. Being now, a vet and a senior there, kind of being in the college football world for a second, I was like, I know like the easiest way to get on the field is just to learn every position. The more you know, the better you're off. So, that's just kind of how I end up getting the opportunity of someone getting hurt and kind of figuring it out and, showing once that opportunity presented itself, just kind of running away with it. But yeah, it was quite the journey, but man, I love it.
And I do have to bring up something. Before Najee Harris was hurdling players, you were the guy who started that. Is that a Cali thing? And did you pass it on to him? And what was your best one?
Yeah, I mean the Ole Miss one for sure. That was that was just kind of, I don't even know, just how I've never done that before, to be honest. So when I did that, even I remember talking to my brother after the game. He's like, "Did you plan that? Like, where would that came from?" I was like, I have no idea. I couldn't tell you. but I would say Najee definitely has a couple more way better than mine. So.
Richard, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, just when you just look at that 2015 season, Richard, and just all the games you put together, was there one where you did some on the field and Coach Saban was like, man, we pulled the right transfer?
I mean, I think kind of after the first game, because me and Chris Black, we were actually still trying to figure out, like we were splitting reps at the time. Still going into the game, they didn't say who was going to start, kind of what was going to happen. I think I had 3 or 4 catches the first game. But, I had some good blocks. Blocking for Derek is the easiest thing in the world. But
no doubt.
So, but like I said, just didn't really let that faze me. And when my number got called, just responded and answered. And I think after that, Coach Saban, that's when he named me the full starter and was like, you know what, all right, I see what we're getting. I see, he's a senior guy, and just kind of ran with it from there.
Stephen M. He made the transfer portal look cool before it was actually a transfer portal.
I
think,
no,
yeah,
for real. Because I mean, Justin, you laugh. I'm so serious.
I am too.
I remember the Georgia game that year. Though I remember the Georgia game. It was raining like a monsoon.
Oh yeah.
And Bama was an underdog in that game, and I remember. Mullaney Rich, you made this catch. I mean, Jake threw it slightly behind you. You pull like an Odell, like going back.
Yeah, bruh.
And you fell. I'm like, who in the world is this cat? I'm like, what?
Yeah, I know. I say it. Me and my brother and a bunch of our buddies, we all were together over the holidays, and they're like, we were talking about college football and the transfer, and there's like, shoot, you started the transfer portal. They're like, before all this, like, you were the first one to make it actually a thing. I was like, I know, right?
So just in your opinion, of all the leaders that was on that 15 team, for you coming in there, who was the most influential for you?
For me?
Yeah, for you.
Oh. I mean, I would say offensively, Jake for sure.
Yeah.
He just had his demeanor and his voice and just like how he carried himself. It's not like he's, the best athlete in the world, or, he still was fighting through adversity for the beginning of the season, just, battling for, first team reps and stuff like that. And then once he finally got that spot, like, you just saw how he carried himself and the voice that he had, like, just through the roof. And then defensively, shoot, that defense.
Yeah, I don't think you can just name just one.
Yeah, between Reggie Ragland, Cyrus,
Ruben.
I mean, Ashawn for sure too. Like,
man, he came in a grown man. That dude.
when we first, me and my dad, when I went on my visit, he was like one of the first people we met walking through. He's like, hey, how are you guys doing? Like, who are you? I was like, oh, Richard Mullaney. This is my dad. Like, oh yeah, I'm Ashawn Robinson. My dad's like, oh, you coach the D line? He's like, no, I play here. My dad looked at me. He's like, what?
I can believe that too.
Yeah, it was
some breaking news. Just been informed. John Madden has died.
Yeah.
So that's a blow, man. There's a true icon for the game of football. That's tough.
One of probably arguably the biggest pioneer of the NFL. One of the biggest pioneers of coaching. One of the biggest pioneers in broadcasting. One of the biggest pioneers in terms of video game culture. Man,
I was just about to say. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
After him, that's crazy, man.
So
definitely our hearts and prayers here to the Madden family. Lost
absolutely,
John, getting that up there
for sure.
So we often talk about how players can make things look seemingly very easy. If a ball was ever thrown in traffic, we knew beyond a shadow of a doubt you were going to come up with it, and you make it look so effortless. I know probably to you, you're like, man, I got the crap beat out of me. This wasn't effortless, but man, how did you make it just look so smooth and so cool?
I don't know. Just catching in my hands has just never really been like a problem. I was just on the field the other day with my buddy. We were running some routes and he like dropped the ball or something. He's like, what do you? I'm like, I just don't think. I don't know. It's just there. And I'm like, all right, I got to figure out how to catch it.
now, as much as I talked about the Georgia catch you made there, man, I got to go back to the SEC title game that year.
Oh yeah,
Jake gunned the ball between two dudes. Yeah. And it hit you in your arm. I'm like, I'm amazed Mullaney's arm didn't fall off because Jake had like 106 mile per hour heater. He would just thread that thing. I'm like, I would have died trying to catch that.
Yeah, he threaded that. I didn't think it was coming to me, and then all of a sudden it was just like right on.
Oh, how did this get here?
Yeah. I'm like, all right, let's go, Jake. I'm not mad about it, you know.
Yeah, people don't talk enough about your highlight reel catches, man. You weren't afraid to climb that ladder and put your body on the line, and regardless of if it was first down, second down, third down. Yeah, you had that great one against Florida. You had that great one against Arkansas. Do you have a favorite?
Um, I mean, it's hard to say it's not the Ole Miss hurdle, but we end up losing that game.
Rich, I'm still mad about that now. I'm still mad about that loss.
Listen, bro.
Just
Listen,
me.
I live in Mississippi, so I moved back over here and had to endure Ole Miss fans for 2 straight years for that.
Tough.
So yeah, but go ahead.
I don't know. I mean, what was it Coastal? No, who do we play? Oh, Charleston Southern.
Yes.
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 That was probably one of my favorite ones too. Might be the favorite one. Yeah. Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, just all the memories just playing there, Brian Denny, just the team that we had. It was just top to bottom, greatest guys, and how we just like came together as a team. Obviously we had, if you just look at it, the talent is insane. But after having that Ole Miss loss and just seeing how everyone kind of realized, all right, hey, we can't just get by on talent now. We need to actually be a team. And seeing how that whole shift in the locker room and everything like that, it was really cool. It was special, for sure.
And how eerily similar that moment was to this year. A lot of people going into Georgia basically said, you know what, you guys shouldn't even bother showing up. You go into your own funeral, and kind of the same thing was said about that 2015 group coming off that loss to Ole Miss, and we weren't given much of a chance then either. If you could, can you kind of touch on that game and what it meant to the players for as far as redemption?
The Georgia game?
Yeah.
Yeah. Going into it, like that was the thing is like going into it, like, it's obviously you like see it on TV, like, oh, they're the underdog. But going into it, we didn't really think that. We always, like I said, we knew who we were. And so at the end of the day, like we just went out there and played ball because we knew that like no matter who's lined up against us, they don't have a chance against us. But no, like I said, it was just cool how we all came together, and that rain, oh my gosh, that game was crazy.
Monsoon.
Rich, just when you look at the season that Jamison Williams is having as a transfer, and I can say you came as a transfer, what has impressed you about JMO, watching him run, watching his speed, and just how he goes from being not really used at Ohio State to, oh my gosh, he's a potential first-round pick here at Alabama?
Yeah, that speed is different, that's for sure. He reminds me a lot of Calvin, to be honest. Just like how he
really
moves.
Now.
I don't know. Just like Calvin's freshman year at Bama when I was there, how he was just catching just bombs from Jake. Like, I don't know. It seems like a similar. Yeah, I would say that. But Coach Saban and Bill O'Brien, how they do, like, when you have talent, you get them the ball, and you find a way for them to get open and get the ball in their hands and make plays. So, he's excelling in that, and he's having a heck of a year, and my hat's off to him.
Richard, how brilliant was Lane Kiffin, and what was it like to work with him, and as far as building your career at Alabama?
It was awesome. He's, say what you want about him. His X's and O's is best I've ever been around, obviously. And he's it was nice because, when he was at SC, he was recruiting me. So kind of full circle. Now I'm playing for him. And so we had that, Southern California relationship. We had that relationship already. So like coming there, it was like a familiar face, and which was fun. But just like being around him and, just the things that he comes up with, the plays and stuff like that, is brilliant. And was so much fun to play for him. Loves to joke around, but once it's game time, once it's serious, it's let's go.
Did he one time, Rich? Did he one time throw a touchdown symbol when you caught the ball? Did he one time do that?
But I don't know. I remember the Charleston Southern, because they didn't call it a touchdown at first, and then we all went to the sideline and he just kept holding it up. And I think that's when Ashawn was behind him once they called the touchdown, and he slapped his ass really hard, and it was like a video of it or something. But yeah.
No, another one. The man just got a huge promotion. That's Napier. How much? What does it mean to you seeing him finally get elevated to that position at Florida?
Oh, I mean, I knew it was coming. I mean, talk about a brilliant mind. I mean, behind the scenes when I was there at Bama, just being in the room with him. I mean, I know he did so much work, and I mean, shoot, look at our room at that time. We were all young. Well, besides for me, I was like the old vet in the room. But I mean, between Calvin, I think our Darius was like the most production we were bringing back, and I think he had like 12 catches the year before. And to turn, those guys into what they were, I mean, obviously, you have the talent, but to be able to coach them up and get them to be very polished receivers and to learn a system and stuff like that. Even though I was with them for 1 year, it's definitely not shocking to see him, and so happy for him and his family. And, I think he's going to do great there.
Rich, I want you to answer one question for a friend for me. One question. My friend's been asking, why in the world did it take to the college football playoff for O.J. Howard to break loose? Why it took to the CFP?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think we just had so much talent, and like, half the time it's not even more. I mean, we're giving Derek the ball, which is obviously, I mean, look at him, I'm not saying that in a bad way at all, obviously in the best way ever. So it's just like, we didn't need it. And then, when it was just kind of one of those things where his number got called, he performed and had a breakout game. And, we all knew OJ. I mean, if you look at him, he's a freak,
Yeah.
So he's always just been there. It's just, just his number got called that day. But yeah, I don't know. Great teammate all around though. Like did everything you ever asked for. And, I think it was just one of those things where it was just his time.
Now, the following year, I was watching our Darius Stewart, and I look at a lot of the catches he made, eerily similar to what you did previous year. Did you spend some time with him, kind of influencing his game? And because that next season, he really stepped up. He really showed out. He was that guy.
Yeah, I mean, I think being young, which was fun about being in that receiver room was like, there wasn't really an identity, because it's not like, you lost the top 3 guys the year before. So everyone was young. There wasn't like a voice really in the room besides for, Coach Nate. But, I'm not going to say like pat on my back or anything, but like just being an older guy, and, I'm not a vocal guy by any means, but just, kind of, they saw me just putting my head down, going to work type of guy, doing the nitty gritty of like making the blocks and like, just doing. That's like what I was trying to do, just like lead as example. And I think they kind of saw that, and I hope and hopefully that impact them. But I mean, just seeing our Darius too, just seeing him grow, like I said, and have that year that he did the next year. Because even when I was there, the Tennessee game pops up in my head, and then obviously the catch against Clemson. The playmaking ability was there. It's just that next year he really got to show it and shine.
I mean, Rich, do you see like any similarities between the 2015 team and this year's group right here? Do you see any striking similarities in your mind?
Yes and no. I mean, I guess like, the one loss, I was actually, of course, the one game I go to was the A&M game. And I mean, I think just like you said, that adversity of like that one loss, everyone kind of doubting you, saying that, you guys are dead, done, the dynasty's over and all that. I think besides for that, I mean, the play, we kind of have way different styles. But, overall, just going through that and having the right mind and attitude.
So I should have asked this at the beginning, man. When you were looking around, when it came time for you to make that decision to go to a different school, why Alabama? What about Alabama stuck out in your mind that says, you know what, this is going to be my home for the next year?
To me, it was, my goal was to go and play in the NFL. That was my dream. And when Alabama came knocking, seeing what they were, Nick Saban, and everything like that, and when they wanted me, and then went there for a visit, sat down with Kiffin for a while, talked to me about the offense, saw how he saw me in the offense of what he would want me to do. I was sold just because if I knew if I can go to Alabama, pick up a playbook, play, I was just thinking playing, start, whatever, doesn't matter. Just somehow get on the field and show I can do that. I knew that would set me up for success at the next level or whatever I do in life. And so it was more for a challenge to me because I knew, I could go to, another school that, I don't want to say like lower tier, but, another school where I could put up, numbers and, be the number one guy, be like the vocal point of the offense. But I more wanted to challenge myself to be like, all right, let me see if I can go to the, number one team in college football. And, let me see how I stack up against these guys.
Did Mike Riley contact you after you made your decision? He played under Coach Bryant.
Mm-hmm.
What were his thoughts after you made that decision?
He was happy. He was proud of me. Me and him, we still talk to this day.
Cool.
But he was, yeah. I mean, he just wanted the best for me, and he was. I remember talking to him after we won it all, and he was just like, he's like, I am so happy. Like you did so great. Like, yeah, it was cool. And we when I was in the Alliance League, he was coaching the San Antonio team, and we linked up again. And he just gave me this big hug, and we just talked a while just about football and life and everything. And I was like, brought me to tears. Like both of us when we were just talking, it was just like it was a really cool moment.
I know that the went through a lot of craziness and heavily criticized because of the way it ended, man. But I really enjoyed watching that. And I enjoyed watching you by extension. And to me, that was a really good league, aside from the things we later found out. But yeah. It was a cool experience.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I was a good player. I was living in Arizona. Coach Newhouse was a coach. He was awesome. Treated us like professionals. And it was fun. It was just fun getting back out there playing ball. Yeah, it was a good time. We had a good group of guys, so it was a good time.
Well, before I turn it over to Stephen M. Smith to give the wrap up on the Alabama-Cincinnati game, if you would share your thoughts on the game and what do you feel like Alabama needs to do to assure this victory? And then also, if you got a score, let's hear it.
Yeah. All right. I'm excited to watch the offense. Bryce, he's just been stepping up week after week, which has been awesome to see. Jameson, he's the talent alone is there. Expect a big game out of him, but expect obviously with Mechie out, one of the young receivers to step up. So that's gonna be fun to see too. And then defense, I mean, Will Anderson, that guy he's different. That's for sure. He is different.
Not human.
Yeah, no. But the running quarterback, that's always been something that's, I guess been tough for Alabama. So, I think that could cause problems, but also I know Saban will get them right. And yeah, I mean, we'll see. It's fun, playing in one of these big games. I was fortunate enough to do it. And the final score, shoot. Let's go 32-14. I don't know.
Hey, I'll take it as long as we're on the winning side of that.
Exactly.
Stephen
Exactly.
M., you had a question before we started. We finish up on the game summary or preparation for Cincinnati.
Well, I mean, I guess preparation. I take the plane to Dallas on Thursday. I'm looking forward to it. I want to see what is the game plan for Bill O'Brien coming into this thing. Does Bill O'Brien go attack the secondary? Does Bill O'Brien go run the football and then create matchups off play action? What does Bill O'Brien do early and often in the game? The coin toss is going to be interesting for me. Coin toss is going to be something serious because normally you win the coin toss, you take the ball. But does Bama want to win the coin toss, put the defense out there, and have Will Anderson and company go after Desmond Ritter? I mean, coin toss is going to be very intriguing for me. But I am really excited about this game. I'm pumped up. This will be my third or fourth time going to Jerry World. So I always love going down there. The hospitality of those guys is top notch. I love the people there. The food is amazing. It's phenomenal. The hotel rooms are fantastic. So going back to Dallas is like going back to another home. So I am pumped up for this. If I had a score prediction right now, and I've been battling with this in my mind, I'm going to go. I think Cincinnati comes out spirited. They're going to come out scoring points. I'm going to go 48-24 Bama. 48-24 Bama.
And if you are into sports betting, pay close attention to what Stephen M. Smith is saying, because he usually hits it either right on the head or close.
I either win you the money or I get you 95% of the money. So 48-24 is what I'm going there in favor of Bama. But I'm looking forward, guys. I am so jacked here for this matchup because all week long we've been hearing about the excellence of Cincinnati's defense, and they've been fantastic all year, not taking anything from those guys. But I am just so pumped to see how the offensive line looks out there, how the receivers look out there, stepping up from Mechie. Bryce Young coming off winning the Heisman. How does he perform out there? And then most importantly, this defense has gotten better and better since the NSU game. Wanting to see what they do out there on the field. And man, I got my man Slotty pimping in here, man. Like, I'm trying not to cry right now.
No doubt. Before we close out, I want to mention a few things. Of course, Bama Sci-Fi, they're trying to get their hustle on in life after football. One of those young men, we already mentioned him, Cyrus Jones. If you're in an Atlanta area, man, let this man sell you a house. This is his number on the screen right there. If you don't have time to write it down, please contact us. I put the email up earlier. Give this man a shout. He'll take good care of you. He's already helped out a couple of our listeners, man, so you can't go wrong there. Also, our man DJ Petway, Precision Fencing, does commercial and residential. His number is right here on the screen. Man, these two guys that will get you taken care of because they're champions on the field and off. But listen, Richard, man, we really appreciate you coming on. Great to finally have you here. I wish the rest of my crew could have been on, but for various reasons they couldn't join us. As I said, Marvin Constant had a knee replacement surgery, so he's not really feeling up to chatting, but he'll be back soon. But, man, thank you so much. But also, if you would, before you jump on off, for the fans who are still wanting to follow along with you, how they find you in social media, and then what's up next for you?
Yeah, I mean, just social media. It's just rmullaney16. My Instagram or Twitter. What's next for me? I mean, I'm still right now coaching at the high school, but looking to hopefully get into college. That's what I want to do. So been putting out some feelers here and there. So we'll see. It's a little early, but yeah, just taking it day by day.
One quick question. Is there a slight chance with the XFL resuming this year that you may give it one more shot?
I've thought about it. I've been staying in some shape, so we'll see.
Well, man, let us know, man. We'll definitely be watching, brother. Well, guys, great show. I enjoyed it, man. This tune in Friday, and let's get this thing done and move on to the next big game, and that's the most important one. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. Appreciate you guys having me.
Yes, sir.